Welcome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how to set yourself up to win when it comes to learning and digesting information. So let's say you're taking part in a program. Let's say you're learning from a teacher, you're reading a book. Doesn't matter what it is. If there's something that you want to integrate, then there are some things we need to address to set you up for success. So this is the first step. Before we start talking about the process, the techniques, the methods, the concepts, what we're looking at here is your context. So what is your capacity to absorb? Where are you at and what do you need? And this process takes us right into the body, because the first thing we want to look at in how to be more attuned, which is sort of present, open, receptive and aware, is biological needs. So to create the best conditions for learning and processing, the first priority is biological needs. If today you want to learn or practice something and you think you should and you've made a strong commitment to do that, but you're massively underslept and you're massively undernourished, let's say, or you've just been really missing social connection and it is available, but you're telling yourself that you can't go and connect until you've finished XYZ. You may be shoulding your way into inefficiency. You may be fighting against the way the world works through you. You may actually be making it harder for yourself. If you attune to your body, what you might discover is, oh, wow, I feel a lot better after a rest. If you would allow yourself, if you would take off that social conditioning piece and the self-policing part, and if you would actually allow yourself to go with what your body is telling you it needs right now, what would happen? Would you be more energized? Would you be able to come back and give an even better effort or not? I think you would come back better. So there's the whole quote, you'll know who said this, or you'll be able to find out. If I had 7 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening my axe, or thereabouts. So sharpening the axe is dealing with the biological needs, being well nourished, being well slept, having a rhythm from day to day, which is somewhat regular. It's like creating a bass note or a drum beat in a song. It's the first layer that has to be there for the rest to be put on top of. If you want to feel grounded, if you want to feel well. And so this is somatic attunement. Somatic meaning relating to the body, attunement meaning to be present with, to be open, receptive and aware. So to be open, receptive and aware of the bodily experience, hunger, tiredness, thirst, really simple stuff. You'd be amazed how many people jump into the next activity and they're constantly running on this narrative of what they think they should be doing and what they're used to doing and what their highest self does, but they're so disconnected from their embodied self. So emotional stability is the next layer. Once you've met those biological needs, you will experience more emotional stability. So often, a lot of the emotional instability or volatility that we experience in life is just a reflection of how disconnected we are from our biological needs, and we're not good at meeting them. So if you're very heavy on the psychology, which is this blue square, and you're tipping the scales in that direction, then your emotional volatility is going to increase when you reconnect with your body. If you've been very, very connected with your body as well, like constantly connected with your body, but psychologically you're not aware, you're not aware of how you think and how you speak, then there can also be a volatility that comes with that. But what the emotions function to do is they connect body and psyche, essentially. Okay, so your body gives you feelings, sense data. And the psyche is like words, language. There's a certain essence of you that comes through that as well. A certain tone, a certain way of seeing. But as the bodily and the material, the really dense part, finite material, the world, and the psyche interact, there's a certain communication, and that's emotions. Emotions keep you connected to yourself. You get angry if someone wrongs you. You're happy when something good happens. Emotions keep you in your human experience, and they help direct you towards what you need. So emotions are really helping you do everything better. Emotions are wonderful. Emotions are wonderful, useful, fantastic things. They are conduits for meaning and experience, and they can tell us a lot about where we're at biologically and psychologically by process of elimination. So getting in touch with the emotions is very important, to know what one is feeling. And that's a bigger conversation, but the next level is psychological integration. So let's say you want to digest some of my content, you want to learn something from me, but you're noticing the presence of a lot of hunger or exhaustion or really strong emotion. You're probably going to want to deal with those two first so that you can make the most of this psychological integration. To make the most of what I'm offering you on this psychological and linguistic level, which is quite an airy level, right? It's quite a etheric level. We're not wrestling right now. We're not digging a trench. I'm not putting my hand on your shoulder. We're not breathing together. We're right up here. So if you want to go here, but you've already spent so much time here and you haven't visited your body and you haven't worked with the emotions, that needs to happen first so that you can create the best conditions for learning and processing. Never mind the content. What's my capacity to use it beneficially? This is what integration is. Remember integrity. Integrity means coming into yourself, embodying who you are, feeling into yourself, and taking a step forth in wholeness, in knowing, not leaving yourself behind, not getting ahead of yourself, not leaving your body poorly taken care of, not leaving the emotions as the elephant in the room that are there, but you're just pretending they're not. These things are where we need to do a lot of work if we want to make the best possible learning and growth environment. An emotion is a unifier. Remember that. Once again, an emotion brings you into your experience and it helps direct you. Where we're afraid of certain emotions, and we can be afraid of anger, but we can also be afraid of joy. We can have these experiences in early life which show us that it's not actually safe to feel and express those emotions. We can be taught that when we're so young that we depend on others. It really isn't safe. So we learn to suppress, to repress, to hide it. But emotions help unify us with ourselves. They bring back the individuality that we had to give away in order to survive, to make that trade because our needs weren't being met early on. And the issue is not the emotion, it's not the anger, it's not the joy, it's not any of that. It's the distortion. The distortion is the self-doubt. The distortion is the thing which makes you self-reflect, get in your own head, and start pulling yourself apart, making it your fault that you have this experience, rather than simply accepting yourself as you are and being with that experience and exploring what it would be like not to tell a story about it. To embody is the goal. To attune to the body. So that means if you're feeling dissonance and resistance, you attune to that. You come into presence with that. You embody that. You don't fix it, transcend it, understand it, blame it, or explain it. You come into it. You come into the anxiety. You come into the fear. Just a little, just a little, just a little. And you keep practicing until you get really good at that. As you get good at being with and attuning to the truth of your experience, not what you think it should be or what you've been told it should be and what you therefore keep telling yourself it should be, but the truth of it here in the emotional and physical body, the felt, then your capacity increases. So you'll be able then to explore the depths of the psyche and to go into thinking and creating. You can really go up on that high, and you will have the emotional capacity to deal with the exposure that brings, the social exposure, the shifting of your perception of yourself and how you do things, all that new stuff, the new stimulus, the new information, the new life that brings through so much emotion. So much feeling, you'll be able to be with that because you've grounded deep into embodiment. The tree can only grow as high as the roots go deep. And the sense of I is similar to the shape of a tree. It's both directions, and there's a top and there's a bottom, and the I is in the middle. It's this center point, this central balance, this central transmission through the spine, through the body, through the center, being a whole being, one, individual, not dividable, undivided whole, integrity, remember, bring the limbs together, bring all of the bodies, the symbolic bodies, physical, emotional, and psychological together. Bring the material and the spiritual together. The the sense of I is what sees all of that and comes into harmony. So the more you're embodied, the clearer the pathway for the transmission of your intent. If there's something you want to do in the world, something you want to learn, you want to hear it, take it in, you want to hold it, you want to express it and create it, you can. The pathway for the transmission of intent is clear, it's open, there's access. Because intent, anything you want to create, can pass through from the infinite to the finite material, through all of these bodies. It can come from the center of your soul and your heart, through the psychological, through the emotional, into the physical. And things from the physical can be taken up to update the emotional and the psychological. So all of this is fresh, new, constant, flowing. The intention is flowing. There's a sensing and a listening, and there's an expressing, and there's a constant interacting energetically through every layer of the being with the world. And it looks like this toroidal field. It's a spiral that spins and comes up and around. It's this electromagnetic impulse that is life, coursing through you, coursing through all layers of the bodies. And your experience is always changing, but the I always sees and is right there in the center. The I in the center. So this is the work, this is the good stuff. And to set yourself up to learn well, you want to be tuning in. And I think the most grounded way for most of us, because culturally we spend a lot of time up here, just like this video, is to dive into a practice which creates some physical sensation, e.g. a horse stance, e.g. like a squat isometric or a push-up or something physically stimulating. And from that physical stimulation, it's like we're loosening up the emotional body, and we start to, we're feeling ourselves now. And that brings us into embodiment. And if there's any fear, reactivity stuff, once we start feeling our bodies, we'll become aware of that. And naturally, if we stay with the experience, and if we're able to meet ourselves where we're at, our body and our breath will take us from the locking up and the checking out, and they will, if we let our body move and we let our breath flow, and we keep practicing this sensing, listen, tightness, breathe, release, okay, stay, ooh, tight, yes, tension, breathe, release, and I just go into, eventually those waves smooth out, and we come into harmony with ourselves. We come into harmony with our experience, and then there's a bliss, there's a restfulness as we dip into these deeper, more stable realms of our biology, more stable realms of energy and emotion. And that then gives us space for more stability in the way we learn, integrate, speak. And it means, hey, we can go stretch the boundaries a bit more once again. But it's only as far as you go deep that you can go up, and it's only as far as you come into your body that you can create things that seem to be beyond what is physically possible. So I hope this has been helpful. Bit of an intro to the concepts. Take it and run with it, sit with it, drink a cup of tea with it, look into a fire about it, go for a swim about it, go breathe and sit on a couch and have a nap about it, and see what happens.